Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Diane's been working with buyers and sellers in the Missoula market for over 25 years. Along with her trusted partners, Diane provides complete service for your real estate transaction and brings us guests who provide useful information on industry-related topics and trends. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk, KGVO. Hello, and so glad you are with us and hope you're enjoying the holiday season. Missoula Real Estate Today is brought to you by Diane Beck, and from time to time, Diane Beck at Windermere Real Estate likes to donate this airtime to worthwhile nonprofit organizations and programs in Missoula. I think we've got one of those this morning. My guest is Claire Bonino-Britch, Marketing and Events Coordinator with Missoula Food Bank and Community Center. Welcome to the show, Claire.
Thanks so much. It's so good to be here.
I'm glad you could stop by. Let's do the get acquainted. Your position with the food bank, what all a marketing and events coordinator, what all that entails, and what led you to pursue it.
Absolutely. So I work in events and marketing here at Missoula Food Bank and Community Center. So I put together all of the amazing events that we do throughout the year, whether it's Empty Bowls, Full Souls, our Advocacy Night, or Missoula Under Construction with Jackson Contractors Group, or even Windermere's Sup Cup. In July, we host a bunch of events throughout the year to get the word out about Missoula Food Bank, fundraise for it, and get people involved in the community. I've had a crush on Missoula Food Bank and Community Center as long as I've lived here. It's got such an incredible mission, and the way they engage community to participate to address food insecurity is incredible. So I'm so glad to be a part.
I knew about Sup Cup. I think we could do almost a whole show on all the different events that you just mentioned.
Certainly.
Right? Yeah, we might back up. I might ask you to go into detail on a few later on in the show if time allows. Well, for those who might not know, what is the Missoula Food Bank and how does it differ from, say, the Montana Food Bank Network, the Poverello Center, other worthwhile organizations that help feed the needy in and around Missoula?
Absolutely. So the POV serves hot meals, and the Missoula Food Bank Network supplies food banks across Montana with food we purchase from them. But Missoula Food Bank and Community Center is your local grocery store, but it's completely free. It's choice model, so folks come in and they can pick out what they want from the produce case and from the dairy case, and there's a deli section. Pretty much anything that you could find in a grocery store, we have there too, and it's totally available and barrier free.
Yeah, kind of pantry style or grocery store style.
Absolutely.
And it's about as easy and welcoming, and I think that's very important. I'm sure you'd agree. Easy and welcoming as it can be to be a food bank recipient or beneficiary, however you want to say that, right?
Absolutely. So we really try and limit our barriers. So there's no proof of residency necessary or an ID that you need to show us. There's no income qualifier. You determine for yourself. If you have need in the community, you can come to the food bank and we'll get you set up. And we work really hard with all our volunteers to keep them trained because we know it's really hard to ask for help.
Sure.
So it's a continual effort to make people feel welcome. And that starts with our staff and our volunteers. So the very first face you see is excited to see you and wants you to be here.
I imagine there is that level of apprehension too, isn't there? If it's maybe a first-time visitor who, they might have thought. I guess I'd use myself as an example. If I had to go to the food bank, it's not something I ever thought I would have to do. Thank God I don't. But I'm sure you encounter that a lot, don't you?
Absolutely. There's still a stigma associated with food banks, and there shouldn't be. And so we work really hard to make it feel like a welcoming place, so that whether it's your first time or your 50th time, this is a place you can come to for community as well as groceries.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate on News Talk KGVO. My guest is Claire Bonino-Britch, Marketing and Events Coordinator, Missoula Food Bank and Community Center. We'll get to the Community Center part here in a few minutes, but Claire, what are some of the misconceptions about who uses the food bank? We kind of just started talking about that, but misconceptions about who uses it and how they use it.
Totally. So some misconceptions are that the folks who use our food bank are removed from you and I. But we serve 1 in 4 Missoula County members. 1 in 4. So 3 houses down from yours,
Right.
that person could be using the food bank.
That is an amazing number.
Yeah, so we have an image in our head about who these neighbors might be, but there are neighbors. They're folks with kids in school. They're librarians. They're folks who are unhoused. It runs the gamut. You could look at any person and they could be using the food bank.
All righty. Okay, it is the Missoula Food Bank and Community Center. Very, very nice looking facility. For those of you who might not know, folks, it's basically kitty corner from West Side Lanes and Fun Center at the intersection of Catlin and Wyoming, pretty much midtown Missoula. So what purposes does the community center serve?
Yeah, so when we were fundraising for this brand new, beautiful facility that we just moved into 5 years ago, we really wanted to make it a place that people wanted to come. So we've got lots of community partners who participate here. Empower Place is one of our big ones. That's in partnership with us at the food bank, the Missoula Public Library, and Spectrum UM. So there's tons of programming from all of these entities to be a space in the neighborhood where kids can come and play and learn and grow and get access to snacks and food all the time too. We also house Partnership Health Center's clinic upstairs, so people can come to grab their groceries and then also meet their doctor and have an appointment right upstairs. We work with WIC, Women, Infants, and Children, to have a clinic on Monday afternoons. We try and keep a lot of things in-house, so you don't have to run all around town to get your needs met.
Right. So if you are an organization, and you've got a specific event that you'd like to try to schedule a certain date, a certain time, that's part of the deal, right?
Absolutely. You can rent out for free the Learning Kitchen, which is a beautiful facility upstairs. It's attached to our conference room. So there's tons of space, and we get people all throughout the year utilizing it.
Back it up there. You had me at free.
Yeah, it costs
Really?
nothing.
No kidding.
We want people to get in here and get acquainted,
Right.
have a tour, host your holiday party or a
Yeah.
cooking class, and then get to know the food bank.
Oh my gosh! What about capacity? I mean, what would be about the maximum maybe you could welcome to an event like that?
I think that's about 50 we can hold in there.
That's not bad at all.
But we've got everything that you need in the Learning Kitchen, from KitchenAids that are stands. You can hot plates, all sorts of things that you can create a whole event there and learn and grow together.
Oh gosh, that's fantastic. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. As I mentioned at the top of the show, from time to time, Diane likes to donate this airtime to worthwhile nonprofit organizations and programs in Missoula. That's why Claire is here. Claire Bonino, Rich, Marketing and Events Coordinator with Missoula Food Bank and Community Center. A huge annual event, Claire, in Missoula, the Can the Cats Food Drive, to help you stock the shelves, a competition between Bozeman and Missoula. And, between Bozeman and Montana State University and Missoula and the University of Montana. Nobody really loses in this contest, but tell us how it went for you last month, because I think it ended, on about the 19th, somewhere in there?
Yep, it ends with the Brawl of the Wild.
Yeah, there you go. How vital it is, how it went, and how vital it is to the food bank this time of year.
Yeah, it's a huge event. It's a great way to get a lot of choice into our store. People are donating canned goods and non-perishables from 2 weeks before the Brawl of the Wild up until game day at halftime. And it went great. We had over 50 community partners running food drives at breweries and grocery stores, offices. And UM was also a huge part of it. We partner with UM Pantry and everyone at the university. There were over 15 drives just on campus. And we raised just about 500,000 pounds and dollars of food. So across the state of Montana,
Wow.
over 1 million pounds. Nobody loses with that. There's a
Yeah.
friendly competition part, which is fun. Everybody loves.
Yeah.
But then there's also the component that we're just getting our needs met in the community.
That's amazing. And, as you pointed out, there's always a fair amount of demand. About how long would you guesstimate that? I mean, it sounds like a lot. That sounds like an awful lot of food, but it doesn't stay on the shelves forever.
No, it doesn't. Especially since we are serving 1 in 4 community members.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay long. But we have such a generous community. We really can stand with their support all throughout the year.
And this time of year, of course, winter and the holidays, I assume this is the case. That places an extra increased demand on your inventory. And how much more difficult is it to keep an adequate food surplus this time of year?
Well, winter is always hard. The costs of living go up generally in winter with heat and fuel. But every single cost really goes up in the winter. So we see more people in these few months than the rest of the year. And this year in particular, because the cost of living is up so much, month to month, we're seeing 1,000 more households than in 2021 every month.
1,000. Oh, my goodness. You know, we were talking earlier about some of the folks who use the food bank, whether they're first-time people who might be a bit apprehensive, all the more reason to make it a very comfortable, welcoming place. But I would guess, and I asked you about some misconceptions, I would guess another one that we didn't touch upon is that there are those who think that you've got everyday, regular customers, if you will. There's people using the food bank every doggone day, and that's not really that's not really A, why it's there, and B, the reality of it, right?
Well, we do have some people who come every day just to meet that basic need. And then we also have people who are coming in for the first time in all the years that they've lived here. So it really runs the gamut. We see all sorts of folks.
Right. But just for those of you out there thinking that's the only people that come to the food bank is people that come there every single day. It's just with the need, and need is a fluctuating thing, as you pointed out. Maybe somebody's kind of down and out, or just things are really tight right now. Maybe not in a month, but for now. So you do a fantastic job of filling a temporary void for many as well.
Absolutely. It's emergency services, but we also have no limit on how often you can come in, because we are doing some of that work to reduce the stigma. If you need to come in more than once, that's A-okay. If you need to come in every day, that's okay too. And sometimes those extra touches help us connect you with another resource like SNAP or Medicaid, things that make it less tight for you in other places. All
right. And so the the Cat food drive last month, that went good, and we had a decent surplus for a time. But that tells me the holiday drive campaign you have going on.
Yes,
that is huge right now. So let's spend some time and talk about the objectives of that one.
Absolutely. So with Can the Cats, it's a food drive primarily.
Yes.
So we're looking for diversity of food options there. With the holiday drive, this is a fundraiser, and that just helps with our purchasing power. Our dollar goes a little bit farther, so when people donate to us monetarily, we can turn that into even more pasta and even more cereal. And so our goal this year is to reach $325,000, just up slightly from last year's, but the need has grown exponentially.
Yeah.
And we are already about $60,000 into that in the 7 days we've had the drive throughout December.
Oh, gosh. That's a good start.
That's
right?
a great start.
Yeah. Have we got a specific goal in mind? We're
trying to shoot over 300,000.
All right.
But we're on track for that, and I'm so grateful for all the people who are recurring donors or first-time donors, or give especially during the holiday drive. The support of the community is what makes all of this work.
And what this might be a very naive question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What enables you when you actually have cash? Cash is king.
Absolutely.
What enables you? Gives you so much. You mentioned you have so much more buying power.
Yeah.
When you have the control of the cash.
Totally. So like any grocery store, like they can purchase things for cheaper because they're buying so much of it, and we have kind of that same type of purchasing power. We buy thousands of pounds of cereal, or we get produce in bulk from certain growers. So what we can purchase goes a little bit beyond what you can get in the grocery store.
And because you are a food bank, do you get any little special? Is there an extra incentive for those wholesalers, those suppliers to provide you. I mean, a little bit of a price break there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, that nonprofit status really helps us provide for the rest of the community.
How could I not think? I couldn't think of nonprofit status. I'm hemming and hawing and mumbling here, trying to figure out the word. Yeah, so you get the nonprofit status.
Absolutely.
Price break in there as well.
Absolutely.
That's good. Well, gosh, I hope that that's an ambitious amount for, and you've kind of got that locked in for the entire month of December.
Yes, until the end of December.
All right. Well, we'll mention this again toward the end of the show, but if listeners are interested in donating to that specific holiday drive, what is the process?
MissoulaFoodBank.org is the easiest way to donate to the holiday drive. You click that Donate Now button and you're good to go. But you can also bring in cash or a check, mail it in, give us a call, and we'll do it over the phone. There's no barriers to giving either.
Yeah. Has this been a mainstay, this program, this drive? This isn't something new, obviously.
No, this is our 37th year of it.
Excellent.
And we've been in the community for 40 years. So, quite a mainstay.
Yeah, you're pros at it now.
Yeah.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate here on News Talk KGVO. One of those weekends where Diane donates the airtime to worthwhile nonprofit organizations and programs in Missoula, like Missoula Food Bank and Community Center. Also, a thank you to some of Diane's marketing partners that help bring you the program every week. Miles Link at Opportunity Bank of Montana, Rob Fleming at Man Mortgage, and Carol Blodgett with MakeItMissoula.com. Back to Claire Bonino-Britch, Marketing and Events Coordinator at Missoula Food Bank and Community Center. Claire, what's the ideal food selection lineup at the food bank? What kind of balance do you try to maintain while also making sure you have all the basic staples? And I don't mean you specifically. I'm sure you've got professional nutritionists that see to that, right?
Definitely. So we've heard from our customers that one of the resources that's most valuable to them at Missoula Food Bank and Community Center is fresh produce. So we work really hard to have greens and vegetables and fruits available all throughout the year. Of course, we've got our shelf-stable stuff in abundance, but we also have stuff in the deli case and dairy available. There's meat that we try to have, protein sources. So to keep it balanced, we try to have a little bit of everything. And I think people maybe don't know that they can contribute to that too. I think folks, when they think about a food bank, they think just some canned beans is a great option, which it is because we love the protein.
Sure.
But you can donate like frozen beef or stuff that you've caught. Like you can hunt and commercially process meat and donate it to the food bank. And we accept that and we distribute it. And it's an amazing resource. If you're growing greens in your garden, bring that on by and we will distribute that too. It's such a variety of food because that's what humans eat. We are providing for the whole human, not just the bare minimum.
I'm glad you brought that up. I find that so interesting. We do a weekly hunting and fishing program on Fridays. It runs from 8 to 9, and we're live. We do the show live over at Paradise Falls, but one of the sponsors / guests on the show, he comes to the program every week, is Brad, the fellow that runs H&H Meats. And what Brad will do is he'll bring in handwritten lists of the successful hunters, just so we can say their name on the radio and say, oh, it was one of the biggest elk we ever took in and things like that. But what you will see, and as you can imagine, as you get general big game hunting season's over now, so their business is quieting down a little bit. But as you can imagine, in the latter part of October into November, there are a lot of names on these lists, and a respectable number of them donated their processed game to the food bank.
It's just incredible because every avenue is so important to us. And that's why we're the community center as well as the food bank, because people feel generous giving meat that they've hunted, and they get to have some buy-in. Yeah.
Does it surprise you how much that comes in?
Yes, absolutely. But I'm not much of a hunter, so most all of that surprises me.
All right. Well, it's not required. The marketing director at the food bank has never had to be a
No,
hunter.
it's not on my responsibility
that's
list.
okay. You don't need to be an angler. You don't have to fish either if you don't want to. Now, how about the little ones? Making sure kids are well provided for. That is a huge initiative for you. Let's talk about that Empower Pack program. I think I got that right.
Absolutely. So Empower Packs go into the backpacks of students K through 12th. And it's two breakfasts, 2 lunches, 2 dinners, snacks in between, milk. A lot of the schools add additional fruit to go in with it. It's to make sure that the nutritional gap is met during the weekend too. We've got a lot of kids table programming that's during school, after school. But when kids go home over the weekend, it's hard to know that they're making that
for sure
work too. So this is one of our programs to make sure that nutritional gap is filled. And it costs about $6 to fill each Empower Pack. So we're always fundraising for that. And it's an amazing way to get involved too. We do Empower Pack builds about once a month where like 100 volunteers come in assembly line style, and we're filling these Empower Packs to get shipped to the schools where FIT coordinators, the families and transition coordinators, slip the packs into people's backpacks. So it's discreet, it feels confidential. The dignity of the children and the families are still protected, but the need is met.
Somebody's a dang good volunteer coordinator.
Yeah.
Is that on you?
That's not me.
Okay.
We've got
Well,
lots
you had
of
a
people.
golden opportunity to take all the credit. But if somebody's able to organize 100 people to come do that, that's
Totally.
I'm blown away by that.
We've got like 500 volunteers that come through and serve so many different needs. You could be stocking or repacking or greeting at the front desk, being a resource assistant, connecting people with resources throughout the community. There's so many people that make the food bank run.
Gosh, that is so great. Tell us about some of the other programs you offer to address different populations. We've been talking about young ones here, K through 12th grade age levels, but you address different populations, others, to make sure folks get their needs met in ways that best suit them. Just because they're in need does not always mean they can come to you, right?
Absolutely. There's a huge population of our aging neighbors who can't always make it to the food bank, but still need those resources. So we've got a couple different delivery programs that we're so proud of. Roots is a monthly delivery program that drops off non-perishable goods to folks who have signed up. And then we also have Fresh Food Box, which people buy into at a low cost. They can use their SNAP to cut that cost in half.
I see.
But it gets delivered right to people's doors. And so you get a little grocery delivery, and you also get the interaction with a community member who's dropping it off to you. It fills that human connection need as well as the needs in your tummy.
I know you haven't been on the job forever, but I always like to ask my guests about success stories, something that has happened during your time at the food bank you found maybe especially rewarding.
Sure. There is a kid who's in 4-H and contacted the food bank saying that he wanted to raise a hog for the food bank. So we got to follow the process from him purchasing this pig to raising it, to butchering it, to it arriving at the food bank. And one 7th grader provided like 240 pounds of meat to the food bank.
Wow.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And it shows you like everyone can participate in making sure that food insecurity is addressed in our community. And that's why it's part of the name, because it's a community effort to address.
Was that a local or Western Montana 4-H FFA member?
Absolutely. Blue Mountain, I think.
Okay. All right. And go through the whole livestock auction process at the fair. You would like to think that would manifest or inspire other kids to maybe,
Totally. And I think it will.
Do something similar.
They put it in the national newsletter. So maybe all across the nation, kids will start raising hogs for their local food banks. That's the dream.
Our guest this week on Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate, Claire Bonino-Britch, the marketing and events coordinator for the Missoula Food Bank and the Community Center. And you have touted rightfully so. So many great things about the food bank are there. And as you look ahead, maybe just look ahead to the upcoming year or the not too distant future, whatever. Are there some things where that if you could kind of wave the Claire Food Bank wand, things that you feel that you'd really like to see improve in the near future?
I am excited. This is my first year in the job.
Right.
So I am still getting acquainted with the yearly calendar of things. But I'm really excited to come up on those events again with Empty Bowls, Full Souls. We get local ceramicists to make bowls that we feed folks a simple meal in, and we talk about why food insecurity exists in our community. And with Missoula under construction, we engage folks who build in getting with small children.
Why do I know that one? Who do you work with on that one? Do you know?
Jackson Contracting Group.
Okay. And then another organization in town, not far from you, like a couple blocks down, Missoula Works or something like that. They make an event out of that, or they help promote that as well.
Yeah, there's so many people who participate in Muck.
Yeah, I'm sorry, got off.
No, that's okay.
Off track.
But it's one of the most fun days of the year. They've got kids in big rigs learning about the trades,
exactly,
and fundraising for the food bank. And so it's a win-win.
Yeah, a lot of events like that, and you just hopefully like to see a few more.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What kind of hours does the Missoula Food Bank keep for those who come to stock up the grocery shelves a little bit?
Sure. So on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, we're open from 10 to 7 p.m. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, 10 to 1.
Okay. All right. And also new at the Missoula Food Bank and Community Center, you have a new executive director. If you could tell us a little bit about Amy.
Yes, Amy Allison Thompson is part of the team now, and we're so excited to have her. She will be available in the upcoming months. We're going to have some events to get her introduced to the community. So be on the lookout in January for some meet and greets.
Okay. All right. What's the name again?
Amy Allison Thompson.
Okay. The new executive director. Been on the job?
About a month.
Okay. That's pretty new.
Yeah.
Hey, you're not the new kid anymore.
No, she's got
exciting?
some stuff she knows.
Yeah. Can you go back to the Bowls for Souls event? First off, when did you say that was?
That's in late June.
And so you've got artisans who craft bowls. Mm-hmm. And then do they sell them as a fundraiser? What happens after the bowl is done?
Yeah, so we get the bowl, and then
Gotcha.
we invite folks to come to this dinner. So they pay for the meal, and they get to go home with a bowl and a better understanding of why the food bank needs to exist in our community and ways that we can disrupt systems that make it so.
Okay. And just a reminder to listeners, in case you didn't catch it early in the program, the Missoula Food Bank and Community Center, if you have some kind of an event coming up, I think you said, Claire, that maybe 50 people maximum or capacity, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. But if you've got some kind of an event coming up that would fit into the food bank's schedule, there's no charge to rent that
Absolutely.
community space.
Come take a peek, take a tour, see if it's the right spot for you, and get involved. We'd love to have more folks there.
All righty. And again, in the month of December, the Holiday Drive campaign is going on at the Missoula Food Bank and Community Center. If people would like to donate and, of course, find out more about the food bank, what's the best way to go about that, Claire?
MissoulaFoodBank.org is the best way to participate in the Holiday Drive. It runs from December 1st to the end of December, the 31st.
Anything I missed, though, you think we need to cover before we get out of here?
I think we covered it all.
Did we do it?
If we've piqued your interest and you want to be a part of it, come down and check it out. We're always looking for volunteers, and there's a role for every person.
All right. I think we touched all the bases. I sure hope so anyway. Claire Bonino-Britch, Marketing and Events Coordinator with the Missoula Food Bank and Community Center here in Missoula, of course. Again, they are located basically kitty corner from West Side Lanes, intersection of Catlin and Wyoming Street. Been on Missoula Real Estate Today this week, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate on News Talk KGVL. Great job. I thank you for stopping by.
Wonderful. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Email dianebeck@windermere.com, or for a complete directory of Diane's listings, visit movetomissoula.com. That's move, the number 2, Missoula.com. We'll see you next time on Missoula Real Estate Today. And just a quick reminder that Missoula Real Estate Today airs at 8 a.m. on Saturdays and replayed at 10:30 a.m. on Sundays here on KGVO.